Hey guys, in this video I'm going to install 6.7 kilowatts solar array with a Solark hybrid 15k inverter. Batteries will be added later to this project, and the Tigo rapid shutdown solution. In the video I will go with installation step by step. In the end of video you will find how much system like that is going to cost and how much time it takes to install system like that. In my opinion, it's one of the best hybrid solar systems that can be installed. If you're interested, let's jump into the video. The first step, I'm getting onto the roof and I'm going to mark panels location per plans where it's going to be installed. In my area, I have to do 36 inches fire setback from edge of the roof and 18 inches from the ridge of the roof. So I'm just marking my first panel and then continue to mark rest of the panels. Now I'm starting to install roof tile hooks to mount racking system. I have 24 inches distance between roof rafters, so I'm marking location from a previous hook, and now I'm adjusting height of the hook. And when I'm drilling into the rafter, in case I'm missing this, I'm just taking this slightly bended copper wire, inserting into the hole, and I can feel that rafter is about 1 inch on the right. After adjusting hook height to the maximum, I still have little play at the bottom plate, it's not reaching plywood, and if I'm going to torque lug bolts, the big chance is gonna break the tile. So I have to notch tile a little bit, and after notching it's perfect level of the top part and the bottom part of the hook. Now I can clean up all dust and seal the holes and drive lug bolts. Now marking rafter location for next hook installation, and I'm adding some sealant for flashing, installing this over the hook, securing flashing with the roof nails, marking location for the top tile, making small notch for the hook, and now I'm good to install all tiles back. Here's the final result. For this project I have to install 37 hooks, so it took 1.5 days to install all of them. After installing all hooks, I'm starting to mount rails, and I'm using IronRidge XR10 version. To extend rails, I'm using this IronRidge splice kit. We don't have to screw rails together, we just inserting this into two ends and it's done. One rule: we cannot install this splice kit past last hook in a row, it should be installed between two hooks. After installing all rails, we need to align them, and I'm using this grounding lug to use this as a spacer for this rope, and then I am just stretching this rope across rails to align them. And I'm finishing day 2. all rails installed and aligned horizontally and vertically, and I'm ready for next step. Now we're almost ready for panels installation. We need to ground all rails together, and I'm using grounding lug from IronRidge and 6 gauge bare copper wire to bond all rails together. I'm using 3 ground lugs right here to bond every other rail, and after panels installation it will complete entire bonding for rails. And now I'm ready to move panels up to the roof, so I'm unpacking this, and for this project is going to be installed 17 panels, 2 strings, 10 panels and 7 panels. So first step, I'm going to crimp negative wire to run from string B to junction box. Before installing solar panels, it's better to inspect tile for any cracks. For example, we have crack right here, and in this case, when it's at the end of the tile, we can seal this seam and it's gonna be fine. But sometimes tile is gonna crack at the top. Let me show you. So sometimes you will find cracks here and here, for example. And those tiles it's better to replace, even it's under the panels, but I'm going to replace this. And now we're good for panel installation. To attach panels to racking system, we need to use this kind of bolts, and how it works, we just insert this into the rail, and when we turn this, it's locking into position. So now I can slide this panel and mount them together. End clamps, we have these spacers, and this spacer is 30 millimeters. They are available on multiple lengths, and basically you have to match this with a panel. We just take this bolt, apply spacer, install this next to panel, and here's the end clamp. After installing bottom panel and 4 panels on a second row, I was taking some measurements to make sure that array is properly aligned on the roof. In my area, by the code, PV module level rapid shutdown system is required, so I'm using this Tigo solution, which is going to shut down power from a PV panel, so no DC power will go from the roof in event of rapid shutdown. And here's a way how I'm managing wires behind the panel. And the last step, I'm marking solar panel and taking this QR code right here. To organize wires under the panels on a racking system, we have these clips from IronRidge. So we just lock this on top of the rail, and then guiding wire right here and locking this into position. I'm not using zip ties yet, but if you have to use zip ties, make sure it's UV resistant, but in general it's not recommended to use it because over time it can crack and the wire gonna hang. So for this project I haven't used any wires, any zip ties yet. Today was the third day of installation. All panels installed except last one. Here's going to be junction box where conduit is going to go down from the roof. I will start doing this tomorrow. Now let me show you all electrical equipment. Right here on the side of the house we have main electrical panel. Bus bar rating is 125 amps, but circuit breaker installed is 90 amps. We can update this if needed. Then this wire from main panel going into the sub panel in the garage. And right here is a 125 amps sub panel with all loads of the house. So then I'm going to install between main panel and sub panel two items. First is this fusible disconnect. This is required by code, going to serve as a rapid shutdown. And also for inverter, I'm going to use this Solark 15k version. So Solark and this disconnect is going to be installed between main panel and sub panel. And I know this garage is going to be redone soon. So to minimize conduits and conduits on the surface, I'm just going to cut piece of drywall and run wires inside the wall between all components. And now I'm running conduits from the roof from solar panels to AC disconnect box, which by the code must be installed outside of the house. And now I'm installing enclosure for Tigo rapid shutdown system. It's containing three main components. First is Cloud Connect, which is communicating with the internet and logging all information there. And as well, it's communicating with the tap, and the tap sending signal to individual modules to shut down when needed. I'm gonna make another video with the details how to set up the system and how it works. And right here I'm wiring power adapter, which is going to convert 120 volts AC to 24 volts DC and power this grid box, which is the Tigo CCA. And from Tigo CCA we will have signal wire going up to the roof to Tigo tap. Next step, I'm running this service entrance cable from Solark inverter to AC disconnect and then to sub panel. And this process took about 1 day to run wires on the attic and inside the walls. Next step is to pull wires in the conduit. For wires I'm going to use, this is 12 gauge wire for one array, for one string, and that one for other string. So then we have 8 gauge ground wire, and then we have this wire for Tigo disconnect. It has 3 signal wires and 1 ground wire inside. So we're gonna pull all of this 6 cable in onto the roof. To transition wires from the wall to Solark unit, I'm going to use this wireway. This is 12 by 12 size and 6 feet length, and I'm going to cut this to lengths that I need. Next step, we need to punch holes in the wireway to run wires into Solark unit. I'm going to utilize 4 holes, which is made for 1.5 inch conduit. Now I'm installing inverter mount bracket and I'm ready to close wall with a drywall and install inverter and wireway. I'm using 5/8 fireproof drywall, and before installation I did protect all wires with metal plates so no one can accidentally drill into a wire. After finishing drywall, I can hang inverter and pre-install these EMT set screw connectors. I'm using right here insulating bushing, but later it's going to be replaced to grounding bushing. For the Solark unit we have to do 6-inch vertical clearance, so I'm cutting this 1.5 inch conduit to run between wireway and the Solark. And now I can install wireway. Now I'm wiring DC side. I have 2 strings going from the roof, so I'm utilizing 2 out of 3 MPPT controllers, and we'll have 1 more just in case we want to add more panels later. And here's the final result. I did ground wireway and all conduits, which is going from wireway to Solark unit. Now when DC wires connected to Solark unit, I'm going up to the roof and finishing junction box. What is important to mention here that by default Tigo optimizers going in engaged position. That means even if Cloud Connect Advanced and tab is de-energized, Tigo optimizers still sending power from solar panels. So before making any wiring in the junction box, I'm making sure that I'm disconnecting solar panels from these wires. And now when all connections finished, I can close lid and install last panel. What is interesting, during inspection, inspector asked me to make 2 1/4-inch holes inside this box to allow any condensation water to drain. And I'm finishing wiring for Tigo tap, and it's going to be installed under this panel as well. And the final step here is to install cover leads for DC and AC side. And now is exciting step, we can energize Solark unit. Now we need to commission Solark unit and Tigo system. I have detailed video about Solark, and I'm gonna do another video how to commission Tigo system. And now I'm adding placard for all components location, where AC disconnect located, all warnings, and we're ready for inspection. And here's the final system overview of all wiring and how it works. From roof we have this conduit, which is going into AC disconnect, and inside this conduit we have 4 wires which is going right there. This is for solar panels to arrays. Then we have 1 ground wire and 1 control wire, that one. So control wire going into Tigo disconnect box, and we have Tigo CCA, which is a controlling tap which is on the roof, and the tap is going to disconnect solar panels when needed. This is power supply for 24 volts. So then coming back here, these PV wires are going into this wireway. It's coming from here, then going up into Solark inverter. So we have 2 strings here. Then in this wireway we have this set of wires which is going from main electrical panel, and then it's going up into inverter, into grid side. So then from a load side we have 2 gauge wires which is going into AC disconnect box right here. So it's going into the line. Then we have 2 fuses for line 1 and line 2, and for load side we have these wires which is going into sub panel which is right there in the garage. For rapid shutdown we have this lever, and this lever is going to disconnect sub panel, and this wire is going into sub panel, so it's going to kill this power supply and shut down the panels. As well, it will disconnect all power to the sub panel. And that's all about wiring. Here's the price for all components for this system. Solar panels did cost 4,200, price with the shipping and tax. Solark unit 8.6, Tigo rapid shutdown system including CCA, tap and the optimizers 1,200, racking system 1,700. All wires including ground wire, signal cable and PV cable, and 12 gauge wires to run from the roof to Solark unit $500. Service entrance cable $1,500. AC disconnect and fuses $900. Conduits, wireways and all kind of connectors $800. Miscellaneous such as sealant, drill bits, cut discs, drywall, all of these $300. Permit package plus county fees plus electric company interconnection fees $1,080. PV labels and the trip to dump station is about $150. So total price for this system $21,000, plus the batteries needs to be installed, And the 15 kilowatt hours capacity batteries is gonna cost about $5,000. So total system price is at $26,000 for full house backup. If you hire installer to install simple grid tie systems, it's gonna cost you $23,500. In my area, installers charging about $3.5 per watts installed. So if we multiply this to 6,715 watts, we're gonna get 23.5 thousands. And this is going to be simple grid tie system, which is going to shut down in case of power outage. So we have 26,000 full house backup system, do it yourself, or 23.5 if we hire a company. For installation time, I did spend 2 days to install hooks and rails, half day to move all panels to the roof and mount them, 2 days to run all cables, including service entrance cable, which took a lot of time to run this on the attic. It's hard to bend this cable and it's hard to work. And 1 additional day to commission system and finish all setup. Total 5.5 days. If you have helper, this can be achieved in 3 days or even in 2.5 days. And I think that's all about this installation. Thank you for watching and see you later.